context, and he was referring to an individual who had donated a large amount of money to the victim's family, not Dylan Roof. Cook said the misunderstanding had ended his 23-year career. You can't put your opinions out there anymore because somebody, somewhere, is going to take that the wrong way, and then they're going to run with it, and that's what happened here, Cook said in an interview. Cook has deleted his Facebook profile, so there's no way to review what he was actually referring to. He is not the only person to be fired for social media comments about the Charleston shooting. However, the other case seems to be more clear-cut. According to Addicting Info, Hailey DeBona took to Twitter to express her feelings about the shootings. She said minorities should stop complaining and leave the United States if they're not happy here. After social media abusers complained to Regal Entertainment, DeBona's employer, she shared another post from her supervisor where he told her social media has no affiliation with our corporation. However, social media complained again to Regal Entertainment, and she too was fired.
People don't get it, man.
Wow.
They don't get it. Now, you know there were 9 states that still use the Confederate flag on their license plates, right? Oh, my God. Oh, God.
But you know what? In these 9 states, I'm sure all in the South. Do you have the names of these states?
Yeah, you think...
And these states have a high black population.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't understand how... Well, I'm going to say Mississippi.
Yeah, that's one.
Texas, or no?
No.
I think I just read that Texas had to take stuff off. So it was Mississippi. I guess Alabama's going to be next to it.
Alabama is another one.
The Carolinas, both or just one of them?
Both Carolinas, yeah.
I don't think Florida would.
Close by to South Carolina.
Georgia?
Georgia, yeah.
No, I don't remember seeing that in Georgia. I go there a lot. I don't remember seeing that much there.
Hometown of Elvis Presley, home state
Tennessee.
of Elvis. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
But why? Why are
it's LA, but it's not Los Angeles.
Louisiana. Why is it that the black people in those towns,
one will surprise you.
states,
MD will surprise you.
Maryland?
Yeah. And there's one left with VA, Virginia. Yeah, they still allow license plates bearing the Confederate battle flag. So.
South will not rise again.
Maryland is the only state to allow license plates with a Confederate battle flag that was never officially a member of the Confederacy. On the side of the debate in 2014, California banned the sale of display of the Confederate flags by the government. The Supreme Court in Texas recently issued a decision that the state of Texas within its rights to deny requests to allow specialty plates with the Confederate flag imagery. The court ruled that states could allow such plates, but they did not have to because license plates represent government speech. This throws into question a ruling by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit that compels some states to offer the plates. And in Virginia, soon after the Supreme Court ruling and the mass shooting in a South Carolina church, Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe, a Democrat, announced that we will work with the state attorney general and Secretary of Transportation to end Virginia's issuance of license plates bearing the Confederate flag. So there you have it, man. It's they have different organizations that sponsors. Because they make money from this. They raise money from these specialty license plates. Because I was trying to get some specialty license plates in New Jersey with Caribbean countries on it, and I've been having a hard time trying to get that. So, like, for example...
You mean, how would you, want a little Trinidadian flag over the state of New Jersey or something?
Yeah. Like, you look at Alabama. Alabama's sponsoring organization is the Sons of Confederate Veterans. In Georgia, the sponsoring organization is Georgia Division, Sons of the Confederate Veterans. In Louisiana, they're all across these states now. In Louisiana, it's the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And so listen to this. In Alabama, the proceeds benefit Sons of Confederate Veterans to be used to fund historical projects. In Georgia, the proceeds benefit Sons of the Confederate veterans to be used for heritage preservation projects. All right, so we're going to preserve our history. In Louisiana, proceeds are used to provide Louisiana history books approved for elementary and secondary schools. In Maryland, this is a network of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. So they're making a lot of money. Because just think about it. If these plates cost $150 and each plate sold, they get $10 because they're allowed to make money on the plates, right? Mm-hmm. If they sell 10,000 plates in a year, that's $100,000. And if you go to 9 states, that's $900,000. And you know in some states they're going to sell more because there is more people who believe in South Carolina. There's more people believe in it. So instead of it being, you know...
Yeah, but then at the same time, Anselm, again, I'm going to put my point out yet again, is that in these southern states, you have high percentages, at least counties, with high, over 48% to 86% that are all black. I mean, like, are almost mostly black. Louisiana, Mississippi, I'm staring at a map right here from the census, Georgia, North and South Carolina, and Maryland.
But what does that have to do with who's going to buy the plate?
I don't understand why. I mean, I would just... I would hope that people will be able to use some political pressure to get those governments that they are, living in, their state governments, to ban that. Yeah, why is it that they are not, or have not, or do they actually fight against that?
It's the elected officials. If the officials elected who make the decision.
Throw the bums out then,
No, that's easier said than done. But this is just... So the Sons of the Confederate Veterans are all across these 9 states. And the money is basically used to benefit the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And in South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia, the use is not specified. So, listen, are we truly post-racial in this beautiful...
No one ever says that now because people can't stop talking about race where there's all this other stuff. There's got to be other stuff that's going on.
Now, Larry Wilmore, Larry Wilmore, right? He's a new guy.
Yeah.
He took Fox to task over the Charleston shooting. What can you say about Fox? Fox is going to be Fox.
Right.
So let's hear what Charlie had to say regarding what Fox News had to say. Oh, did you hear what Ben Carson had to say? I mean, are we still listening?
Please, yeah. Well, go ahead. I'm listening. You're educating me today because I tried to tune all this stuff out.
Yeah, let's listen to what Larry Wilmore.
Thanks, guys. What a great crowd. Such a great crowd tonight. Very kind, very kind. Welcome to the Nightly Show. I'm Larry Wilmore. This is a different kind of day. I just want to say our hearts go out to everybody in Charleston, South Carolina right now. This is a horrible story. And for those of you who aren't up to speed, here's basically what happened.
9 people killed in an unthinkable crime in Charleston, South Carolina.
Before Roof opened fire, he told his intended victims, "I want to shoot black people."
He said, you rape our women and you're taking over our country and you have to go.
Now, I have to tell you guys, we weren't going to talk much about this at all. I mean, seriously, we're a comedy show, right? I mean, what we built here isn't really designed to handle this kind of tragedy. And let me just say, I know we talk about race a lot on the show, but I think we can all agree this time that this is a racially motivated attack. I think it's... but also, it couldn't be clearer when it comes out of the killer's mouth, right? But even with all of that evidence, and on a day like today, Fox News just makes my head explode.
Well, last night's deadly attack taking place at a historic church in South Carolina. The gunman's horrifying attack on faith.
The question is, was it a crime out of race or religion?
They could be calling it a hate crime because it happened in a religious institution.
So if we're not safe in our own churches, then where are we safe? Although it's being investigated as a hate crime, there's still some pieces we have to put together.
Some look at it as, well, it's because it was a white guy, apparently, in a black church. But you made a great point just a moment ago about the hostility toward Christians. And it was a church.
Okay. All right. I know you guys don't want to admit that racial stuff isn't going on. But how can there be any doubt when it came out of the gunman's mouth? Let me remind you what he said.
I want to shoot black people.
He told his victims, I want to shoot black people. I think when he says black people, he means black people and not Christians. I'm just saying. And remember this part.
He said, you rape our women and you taking over our country and you have to go.
He is being very clear. Nobody thinks Christians are going around raping everybody and taking over the country. All right? That's not a thing, unless you're a Duggar. All right? Then it's a thing. Okay, and then Fox News sends out a black preacher like his black is going to confuse me. Right? Black don't distract, by the way, right? It don't. Black don't distract, man. But nice try anyway, Fox.
I'm deeply concerned that this gunman chose to go into a church because there does seem to be a rising hostility against Christians across this country because of our biblical views.
No. It is not rising hostility against Christians. It's rising forceful and pervasive hostility against black people who are meeting in a church. All right? But let's hear more from the Fox brother.
Most people jump to conclusions about race. I long for the day when we stop doing that in our country. But we don't know why he went into a church, but he didn't choose a bar. He didn't choose a basketball court.
Didn't choose a basketball court? Man? Oh, you mean typically black areas like basketball courts? Why didn't he choose a recording studio? I mean, he could have gone to a chitlins farm. I mean, break dancing class, roller rinks. Why wasn't he at a watermelon stand? Why did he go there? He could have. And the literary center, he could have been there. Look, if he wanted to target a high concentration of black people, why didn't he choose any prison in the United States? Why didn't he do that? Huh? And it wasn't just Fox News. Even GOP presidential candidate Rick Santorum couldn't wait to jump on this bandwagon to wrong town.
We're now seeing assault on religious liberty that we've never seen before. It's obviously a crime of hate, and we don't know the rationale, but I don't know what other rationale could there be?
What other rationale could there be? I mean, for people who live in cut and dry, black and white worlds, it's amazing how social conservatives like Rick Santorum just stretch and bend and contort to make sure they never have to confront race, right? Yeah. I know, because, look, I know because this was in a church that it's hard to understand this was about race, but let me give you an example. 4 black girls were murdered in a church bombing in Birmingham, Alabama in 1963, all right? Back then, no one pretended to wonder what the motivation was. If you tried to say it was about religion, even the perpetrators back then would have corrected you. All right? No, we killed them because they're niggers. That's why we did it. All right, one last thing about this church is that it has proven itself resilient for nearly 2 centuries. The Mother Emanuel Church first opened its doors in 1816. 6 years later, it was burned to the ground. And 12 years after that, all black churches in the South Carolina were outlawed, forcing Mother Emanuel to hold their services in secret. Also around that time, racists killed one of the church's co-founders for planning a slave revolt. And nearly 200 years later, last night, Mother Emanuel's senior pastor, Clemente Pinckney, was added to the list of church leaders taken from the congregation. And though this is devastating to the church today, it's comforting to know that Mother Emanuel can and will go on. We'll be right back.
There you have it, man. Well said.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, it's funny. Not just Fox, but the Republicans too.
Well,
they don't even want to say. They don't want to say what it is. And even though Ben Carson is out there in left field somewhere.
Right field, get it right. Right field.
I don't mean leftist.
I know, but I'm like very sensitive about that.
Yeah,
so put him in
we,
right field.
We call it